Hello, everybody. I know it's been a while, so today it's only appropriate that we do another update. This here is going to be a roster update and, also just displaying some of the new stuff I have too. So this stuff all dates back to, Christmas and my birthday, and it's Memorial Day today, so yeah, I just been so busy. But I'm done with school now. In fact, I graduate later this week, so yeah. But anyways, yeah, just been so busy. But yeah, now let's get started and take a look at things. Okay, so why don't we start off with this here? The hopper isn't new, but what's on the hopper is new. So you can see here we have a end of train device, also known as a FRED, which stands for flashing rear end device. This Fred here is a Bachmann, and I think it's pretty awesome. My only thing about this though is the fact that the back of it, you could see it bleeds through. So I mean, that's an easy fix. I could just paint over it, but other than that, it's pretty awesome. So the car that this is actually an Atlas model, and the Bachmann end of train devices, they only make them because they actually have the FRED wired into the truck. And the way they're designed is that so they're only compatible with their models. And this is an Atlas car here. So what I ended up doing was I ended up slightly modifying. With the Atlas cars, it was pretty simple because all you do is you take a washer and then you put it in the screw hole, and then put a screw, or the original screw that came from the original truck, and screw it back in, as you can see here. It's kind of a rusty washer. I stole it off another piece of rolling stock, a piece of rolling stock that was actually old and not in the best of shape, but but it's not like I could really run the car anyway, so I guess it was a worthwhile steal. But yeah, it's pretty easy, or that's how you'd modify it to fit on an Atlas car. So yeah, that's that. Now let's move on to the next thing. Alright, so now you can see here that I have a second addition to my fleet of South Shore GP38-2s. So the other one is actually packed away right now. I don't really feel like getting it out, so plus I'm trying to put some stuff away. So this one here is actually different than the other one I have, because I mean, not only number, but this one here is a Atlas model, whereas the other one I have is a Athearn. So this thing is a really smooth runner. Yeah, and the shade of orange, I really like it. My only thing though is the detail on the Atlas one compared to the Athearn one. Let's see, like, I guess maybe it's lacking detail is what it is, which I could super detail it eventually, but I don't know, there's something else. I'm not exactly sure how to put it, but other than that, it's actually a really nice model. One advantage the underframe of the Atlas models has that the Athearn one doesn't is that the underframe on this one has more detail, but the body on my Athearn one has significantly more detail. But they're both really nice models. Now the underframe, or the chassis, I might actually get a different one or replace it on my Athearn one, because it's an older Athearn model and it's not DCC ready, and but I mean, I still have to figure that out. But yeah, so that's that. Now let's move on to the next. Okay, so here we have a Atlas Norfolk Southern Dash 8, number 8396. Now this here is a really nice model. Currently it's only DC, but yeah, eventually, sooner than later, I want to get a ESU lock sound decoder for it. Same with my South Shore Jeeps as well. But yeah, it's a really nice model. The detail on it is pretty magnificent, and it just looks really nice. And like all Atlas stuff, very smooth runner. So that's pretty much it with this engine. Now let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing we have here, this here is a center beam, lettered and numbered for Utah Central Railway. This is an Atlas model, Atlas center beams. You can't go wrong with these. These are pretty amazing. I mean, the detail on them, and Atlas stuff. It's good quality. But yeah, let me show you a little bit of the detail on this. As you can see here, loaded with detail. Very sweet detail here. Yeah, you even got your air hoses and everything. And is there a coupler bar on here? Yes, there is. It's on the other side though. But yeah. Very nice detail. Now, on rolling stock, or at least freight cars, I'm not too picky when it comes to detail on that stuff. But, it's like really my locomotives and, some passenger cars is where I get real detail picky, Yeah, quite a few passenger cars, and, most especially locomotives, But, yeah, your freight rolling stock, I'm not as picky, but, this, this is amazing, Yeah, so that's the center beam. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so this here is a Walther's Mainline Southern Pacific Bud Coach. Really nice, I mean, looks great, and Walther's good quality stuff runs pretty great too. And the nice thing about Walther's Mainline is that it's less expensive for one thing, but for another thing too, the way they're designed is that so, they could run on more tighter turns. I mean, not that that's really going to be much of a problem on my layout once I get that up and running, but, for these temporary setups like I've been doing, it helps, But, yeah, just look at that, Nice, clean, crisp lettering, paint, it's great, And, it's got, I'd say, a nice amount of detail for a budget-friendly model, but, it's, yeah, nice car, that's for certain, So that's it in terms of trains. I mean, other than two more things, which I'll show you at the end, because you know me, save the best for last. Okay, now let's move on to one of the two most amazing additions to the fleet. As you can see here, we have a MTH Norfolk Southern Dash 9 with the Proto Sound 3. Now, I have so much to say about this engine. Let me back it up a little bit first. Sorry, I'm trying to position it, so yeah, but anyways, There's so much I love about this engine, from the detail to, well, obviously, most especially the sound. You know, I mean, this thing is phenomenal. This is my very first MTH model, and you know, so far I am absolutely satisfied with it. So, my only thing about it though is the fact that, you know, adjusting the volume, because like when you get this thing, the you know, default factory volume is super loud, like, you know, basically to, you know, you could pretty much blow out your speakers in an instant. And you know, the way you'd actually adjust it using function 6. Like, there's no special programming or anything. You just use function 6. And, you know, the thing I don't like about that is that, you know, for one thing, the volume is a real pain to adjust to, you know, what you want it to be, but also, you know, the fact that, you know, you could, without even realizing, accidentally hit function 6, and then, okay, there you go. You have to go through the pain in the gluteus maximus process of having to, you know, having to readjust the volume all over again. But other than that, you know, and then also too, like, just one other thing with this engine, the fact that, you know, programming it, like the loco address and everything, oh my god, you know, it's really complicated on this decoder. Like, you know, the MTH decoders, they are not like your traditional DCC decoders, like say your, you know, Lox Sound, Tsunami, or Wow Sound, or, you know, all that. But I'd say, despite the things, you know, despite the little issues, totally worth it, you know. My only other thing is, this lights, like, I prefer they kind of, you know, dim down and off, and not the LEDs, the LED effect, like say, you know, a lot of your newer passenger equipment has. But otherwise, you know, other than all that, it's absolutely amazing, you know, from, you know, the sounds, the detail, and, you know, it's, yeah, in fact, let me give you a view of it. But yeah, as you can see, you know, all the detail is prototypically correct to Norfolk Southern standards. I don't know how exactly up to date it is to, you know, the way the real ones are today, but I mean, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter as long as it's, you know, prototypical and, you know, for the most part, and, you know, it's, yeah, really, really, really nice. On this model, the speakers are mounted in the fuel tank. I don't know if you can see the speaker. Oh, there it goes back up again. But, yeah. Now, you know, the way the headlight configuration works, it's not like your typical traditional decoder, because you actually have to get the engine rolling in order for the ditch lights to come on and for the headlight to go on bright. But, you know, that doesn't bother me very much. But, you know, I'm sure other people, like, you know, they'd be more picky as far as that's concerned. Me, I mean, I prefer, you know, the manual way, but, you know, it doesn't bother me too much, you know. But honestly, despite the little things of this engine, I really cannot complain. It is beyond magnificent. In fact, I think I might even do a separate video on this engine. But yeah, let's listen to some of the sounds on this thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of sounds that go off, you know, automatically. One of the sounds, which you'll probably hear sometime soon, is the radio chatter. I'm honestly, and it's not just this particular engine, it's all HO scale engines, that I'm not, you know, I don't really like the radio chatter, because there's just something about it where it drives me crazy, you know. I think, you know, especially like on this engine, because, yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. But the only downside with this engine is that it goes off automatically. But I mean, as I said, like despite the little things, I can't complain. Although that makes me a hypocrite right now because I am going into the stuff I don't like. But time to go into the stuff that I do like about this engine. And I really do enjoy. So let's listen to the bell again. A really nice, clean, solid, crisp sounding GE steel bell. Now let's listen to the horn. Now the way to sound the horn in this, there's actually, you could actually do the horn through, let's see, 4 different functions. There's your traditional function 2. Unfortunately, you don't really get much of a short horn through this. Yeah, that's the shortest you can get, but But honestly, I don't see myself using the function 2 all that often as much as I use the other one. So function 9 is your departure sequence. And then reverse departure. And your crossing sequence. So your forward departure sequence is function 2. The reverse sequence is function 3. Your 3 short blast. Or no, excuse me, function 10. I don't know what my brain is right now. And then your crossing sequence is function 11. Now, I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the other functions of this engine. It's like, really, the only functions as far as sound that I use on this are the horn sequences and the bell. Now, there are also functions for your headlights, and number boards and ditch lights. Your regular headlight is, function 0. 5, number boards. I don't remember which one the ditch lights are. I want to say that's 7. No, that's coupler. I don't remember. It's also been a while since I last ran this engine, but we're gonna turn that off for now. But yeah, and then another thing was this engine. You could see right now it has the Cuddy couplers. I forget which model of the Cuddy couplers this is. I think it's a Cuddy number 53 or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, those aren't the couplers that were originally on this unit. The couplers that were originally on this were the MTH power couplers or automatic couplers. Honestly, I really don't like those at all, and I'm glad I got rid of them because not only do they just not look good on an HO scale engine, but they didn't really work like they were supposed to, so, but and plus I prefer the traditional your traditional HO scale coupling units, like your Caddies, is it? I don't know if it's like Caddy or Katie or what. I mean, like, I know a lot of people pronounce them Cadies, but like, is that really how you say it? Because for example, like the thing with Kato, it's really pronounced Kato, but a lot of people pronounce it Kato, even I'm guilty of doing that at first, but I don't know. But I'm getting off topic here. So yeah, that's that with this engine. Now we have just one more thing before we wrap up this update, and it's probably, I'd say, my favorite thing here. This here, I love this engine so much, the Norfolk Southern Dash 9, and this is probably my second favorite. So what you're about to see right now is probably the most, the most magnificent there is to this video. So let's take a look at that. And here we have none other than Nickel Plate Road 765, a 284 Berkshire steam locomotive built in 1944 by the Lima Locomotive Works, and now cared for by the Fort Wayne Historical Railroad Society in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Or excuse me, I got that backwards. Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. I always seem to get that backwards for whatever reason. But yeah. So this here is a Bachmann model equipped with a TCS Wow Sound decoder. I actually got the decoder separately, so I actually got the locomotive for my birthday, and it was only $99 on Train World. So I guess they were having it was a special, like you may have noticed I gotten a lot more locomotives this year than normal, or a lot more like DCC, or nice engines, like really, we'll just say non-inexpensive engines, more than normal, and the reason for that was because, a lot of these websites, or Train World at least was one of those that was having specials. And the 765 was a special, and also the Dash 9 was a special as well. But yeah. So as you can see here, this model has, pretty packed with detail. Now the front coupler wasn't originally what was on this model. The couplers that were originally on this model are now on my South Shore Jeep. And this front coupler, I actually had two of those that were originally on the South Shore Jeep. They don't look good on the South Shore Jeep. So, the front one I put on 765, and the back one on 765 is a, Caddy coupler that I pulled off a, model that, it's kind of in scrap condition, but, yeah. So, let's look at the detail on this thing. So, this thing is pretty, pretty sweet as far as all the detail, goes, yeah. And this is really like my first actual, this is my first steam engine, as a matter of fact. And, so some things, eventually I want to add some detail to it, like, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of you people might know that the real 765, next to the number boards, has the white sheet metal flags, and I want to eventually get a couple of those, put those on, and then I don't know, maybe I might put in a gyro eventually, but that would be work that would have to be done by a professional. But something that I was kind of disappointed in, that I do want to have professionally fixed eventually at some point, is, notice the headlight configuration. All it is just one bulb, and, the real 765 has two bulbs. Now, I'm not sure why Bachmann, made that decision, because, the 611 here, it's a Bachmann model, and it has two bulbs, yeah. Now, they're, these both, I think, are LEDs, but, another thing, too, with the 765, that doesn't make sense at all, because, what doesn't make sense is that the older runs, were actually more, correct, more prototypically correct than this one is, as far as the headlight configuration, because You know, the headlight here, it's easier to see in person than it is on camera, or maybe if I turn the lights off, it's easier to tell, which I'll probably do later. You know, it's not, or the tone of the light, or the color and the brightness, like it's awfully dim, and like the color is like too, it's not like a white light, it's more like a, it looks more like an oil fired color, you know, if that makes sense. Which I don't know why Bachmann decided to do that, but yeah, but some I want to consider, you know, fixing in the future. It might, it's more than likely going to require professional, which it's not going to be anytime soon, but maybe someday in the future, you know. But yeah, plus I'm enjoying this engine too much, you know. But yeah. I mean, otherwise it's a really nice engine. The only other thing I want to do is I want to weather the coal in the coal units, because, you know, it's, you know, compare it to, like, say a, you know, the MTH variant, or even like a Broadway Limited. The coal looks, it just looks too plasticky, whereas if I weathered it up a bit, it would look more realistic. But otherwise, you know, this is pretty amazing. I mean, especially since, you know, ever since I put the Wow Sound decoder in here, you know. Yeah, but let me tell you something. Putting that, you know, TCS decoder in is, oh boy, it was a task, you know. Maybe task is, you know, not even enough of a description, if that makes sense. You know, it was real intense, you know, because, you know, with the TCS decoders, you know, I have to, you know, solder the ends of the wires into an 8-pin plug, you know, and then, you know, that was a, you know, difficult part, was soldering the wires into the 8-pin plug. I managed to succeed, but it was, yeah, in fact, I even had my dad help me with that, you know, and he's really good with his electronics, so, you know, but, you know, it was, yeah, it was a task. Yeah. So, one other thing before I, you know, start getting into the functions and stuff, here's a Norfolk and Western water unit. This an auxiliary water unit. This actually belonged to Luke, Illinois Railfan 1630. He told me, you know, have it, you know, keep it. So I was like, sure, you know, because, yeah. And I don't know if you can see the other side. Yeah. The other side, you know, it's seen better days, you know. So what I'm considering doing is, you know, one of these days I'm gonna, you know, paint it all black, and then, you know, put the Rock Island logos on it, you know. That way, you know, I can have a more authentic Joliet rocket excursion. In fact, one of these days I want to see if I can figure out how to speed match this with my MP36, because, you know, yeah, Joliet rocket, best excursion ever, my opinion at least. But yeah, so why don't we take a look at some of the DCC features on this now. So this here is my very first TCS decoder. Now, I've heard, and you know, seen like great things with you know, TCS products, and something that's really nice with the warranty on this is that TCS, they offer a 1-year goof-proof warranty. So what is the goof-proof warranty? Well, it's pretty much exactly how it sounds. So basically, it's idiot-proof. You know, or, you know, so yeah, the goof-proof, no questions asked warranty. It's, you know, it'll cover either manufacturer defects or operator errors, or, you know, say, you know, yeah, basically that. Yeah. No questions asked. Idiot proof. But also, you know, I shouldn't say idiot because a lot of the stuff too is human error, which, believe me, we're all, that happens to all of us, and I'm I'm sure like a lot of N scale people really appreciate the goof proof warranty because, it sounds like, they struggle with snapping some decoders in half, but, yeah. But yeah. So anyways, let's listen to some of the sounds on this. So function function 1 is the bell. Now this one is authentic to the Bell 765 currently has. Now this decoder, it's the WoW Steam 101 version 4. And it's so there's so many different bell sounds, whistle sounds, and even some others, other like different kinds of sounds. The only thing on this I changed were the bell and whistle, as far as like sounds are concerned. And so I changed it to the nickel plate 765 specifications. So now here's function 2, which is, the manual whistle. So if I wanted to do my own crossing sequence. And then function 3, as you probably heard, is a short whistle. So yeah, pretty playable there. Function 4 is a crossing sequence. I find myself using function 4 more than the other horn sequences because, you get the full whistle value, which, I love hearing the 765's whistle blown at the full value, and like, there's a lot of great steam whistles out there, but in my opinion, no whistle beats a 765 whistle. That's one of the many things I absolutely love about this engine. In fact, one of the top things I love about it. So, let's see. What does function 5 do? I don't think it does anything. And then function 6 is... I'm still learning this decoder myself. So, I really haven't had much time with this decoder because... So, back in January, the decoder, it just like gave out on me, and I replaced the speaker thinking maybe the speaker gave out, but it wasn't the speaker, it was the decoder. And there was one day a few weeks ago where I had this out of the box, and I already took the decoder out, and I put it on the rails, but I forgot I took the decoder out, and I decided, wanted to run it, and then I was like, oh no, like kind of losing my mind, because I forgot I took the decoder out. I went back to get the decoder, plugged it back in to see, make sure I didn't fry the engine at all, and sure enough, not only did it still work, but the sounds came back on, which is like really, really weird. I don't know what happened there. Like could have been one thing, or one of a couple things. Could have been like a loose connection, or something to do with I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah. Then another thing this engine has that I think I really like is that it has a setting for both mainline and switching momentum.
Switching momentum.
So this here, switching momentum. And then also mainline momentum.
Mainline momentum.
But yeah, I think that's a really nice feature. So I'm gonna put it back to switching momentum.
Switching momentum.
So yeah, and there's some other things with this engine that I can't remember right now. As far as like functions are concerned. So in fact, I'm gonna do a separate video on this. I know for certain. Hopefully, I mean, I say I'm gonna do a separate video on stuff, but it's like I don't really, anymore because like I either forget or I don't have time or so I'd like to do a special bit or a separate video on this. We'll see what happens. And then something I really like about this engine is the audio assist. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the audio assist in a different video because this video is already getting pretty long. So honestly, I think I'm gonna just wrap it up here. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye bye.